Among like pure off-ball shooter shot maker types, I don't think there's a better prospect that I've seen than JJ Redick. Obviously, there's like Steph and stuff who I did a video on, but Steph had like the crazy on-ball juice, where I think it was definitely clear in like Redick's translation that he would be more of an off-ball guy. But like the off-ball shooting and just general shooting versatility was wild. Like you have the classic like DHO stuff, where it doesn't matter where Redick is, where he is a handoff away from drilling a three in your face. He was doing the classic like one dribble into DHO thing all the way back in college. It's Chris Paul defending him, by the way. Where like he is so liable to pull up from anywhere off of like a one dribble, off of sideways momentum, off of forwards momentum. And this is like the real stuff that he made like a career off of. Especially like later in his career with guys like Embiid, who had crazy screen and roll gravity, where all he needs is one dribble to fire with, relative disregard for contests. As we see, this one is like a forward momentum with a rear view contest, and he is easily able to convert. But college JJ was so much more than a dribble handoff merchant. He was like a ridiculous college player. One of those shooters with the resolve to pull from absolutely anywhere. He was like yakking crazy deep pull-up threes all the time. And was honestly pretty solid creating space. Like he was good using this little like snatch back behind the back between the legs handle to create like space and nail an NBA range three. This is just the stuff he was doing all of the time in college, like from a variety of ways. Again, like fully a limitless range type of player, like a notch logo three. I've talked about shot versatility and its importance a lot on this channel, and JJ is an amazing example of that. Just like the off-ball movement was so good, and even when he was like inside the arc, he was able to use his like tough shot making ability to create separation. Where JJ never has been like the quickest off-ball mover cutter type, but because he's so smart and like a little shifty and such a talented tough shot maker, he's able to make this kind of stuff work. JJ obviously has ridiculous shooting gravity that he's been able to weaponize in the NBA, but there were definitely flashes of that even in college in like the early mid 2000s, which is really cool. We see like kind of off of an inbounds, two defenders stick to Redick because they're afraid of the three, and he threads an easy pass to his big man, kind of like a pseudo pick and roll. And again, we see the threat of JJ Redick's jumper here. Like JJ moving off ball scares defenses, because like even when he gets into the paint, he's liable to score from here, as we've seen. So this defender steps up hard, and Redick has the know-how and the instincts to find passes down low. And again, this was present throughout like all of his NBA career. I like this play especially with like a pretty weak offensive lineup, where Redick is really the only threat. And just watch how disaligned the defense becomes because of Redick. Like a very simple play, but like this guy, like because they have to chase over the screen, DeAndre Bembry has to help hard because Redick will shoot this ball, and then he's able to find a quick pass to Etwan Moore, who drives, and they eventually get like an offensive rebound. But this is the stuff that JJ made a career off of in the NBA, and it's cool to see that stuff present in college as well. But like JJ wasn't like just a shooter in college. Obviously, like he was like a super high volume scorer, especially his senior year. And who is someone who is like crazy efficient, like 63 true shooting, like crazy high 31 usage, and this kind of scoring numbers are like very, very insane, especially for someone who was like a small guard who wasn't a plus athlete. And like this level of like shot creation is really important for even like off-ball protected shooters. Again, I've done a video or two on that NBA role players were not role players in college most of the time, and Redick was like legit creating off the bounce. Obviously not the burstiest, but like was able to use his strength and straight line speed against some college guards to get by and get easy buckets. I mean, it was obvious that like he wouldn't be a really prolific like on-ball handler in the league. Like he was just too slow and lacking the shift. Where when he was trying to maneuver on the floor, especially against like a tight defense, when there's a lot of rotation happening, he generally struggled to create separation. But again, like the shot making kind of remedied that. And again, you have plays like this where even if like Redick's able to like get a little step, He often, does and has to settle for the mid range because he's just not able to get all the way downhill and get a clean look, and because he's just so good at these type of shots, even though he does miss. But it's not like JJ was like a total non-creator. Like he had legit like capable burst for a college guard. Like he was able to beat guys to the rim in a straight line and finish like relatively uncontested. Like he does miss this one, but again, the functional strength kind of throws this defender away, and then he uses the last steps to kind of create separation. He just like whiffs a wide open layup. But there was like some creation stuff, and while like obviously he was never able to do on ball creation in the league, the fact that he was doing it in college is just a great sign. Role versatility is awesome. Scoring versatility is awesome when you have to scale a player down in the league. And like I think it's worth considering like just how ridiculous Redick's shooting was. Like I did this for Steph, but like 9 threes a game, above 40%, like above 99. Like the free throw numbers were historic. Like even for today, like if we put those numbers into Bartorvik, like there's basically nobody who comes close, like to above 300 total threes, above 86 free throw, and like JJ clears, and all of the guys who do are like Steph, Trey, Buddy Hield, Jimmer, like Fletcher McGee, clearly like upper echelon level shooters, and JJ was clearly in the top level. But like for this year, like if we look at 2006, there was nobody taking this many threes in the league. Like Ray Allen led at 8.4. But nobody was really even close to JJ's 3-point volume, which again, probably was a sign to people that he was a very special shooter, and I think that certainly came true. When I think of like off-ball players, like he really was like one of the best I've ever seen. Like Kyle Korver comes to mind, but like in college he wasn't even as good of a shooter as Redick, and just like was not as versatile on the ball. But like the off-ball shot making for Kyle Korver was pretty wild. But again, like Redick was more capable on ball. He was a better defender. He was a better passer. I think of a guy like Ben McLemore, who is a different brand of off-ball player, who is like definitely a worse prospect than JJ, but the same level of like tough movement shooting. And unlike JJ, who could really like get buckets on the ball in a variety of ways, McLemore had like the vertical athleticism to cut and dunk and use his like off-ball shooting gravity to win off of cuts. Obviously never really materialized that way in the league, but he was just like a different kind of off-ball prospect, but like one with like very enticing skills. And like honestly, another one of the best off-ball prospects I've ever seen is Sam Hauser, who like at 6'8", just a nutty shooter. Again, had the versatility, was able to like fire movement threes in the corner, take pull-ups, score inside the arc as well at the college level. And again, Hauser able to like use his off-ball movement and his gravity to open up shots for his teammates. Like again, we see this is like similar to like the Redick play from earlier, where like a defender has to dig hard one pass away because Hauser is a liability to pull at any time, and that opens up just like a wide open kind of pass for his teammate as well. And like I show this because like even like guys like this and guys like Ben Mathurin, I think of is another one who is an awesome off-ball shot maker prospect from this past draft, but again has like real struggles as an on-ball creator, whereas you saw like JJ actually able to get to some spots and work with his handle, where Mathurin is a guy who loses it often. And like I just want to illustrate like how unique Redick really was, because like even those guys like McLemore, Korver, like potentially Mathurin had like really enticing traits as an off-ball shot maker, but just like despite all of them being bigger or more athletic than JJ, Redick's shooting was on a different level. His ability to create off the bounce in college and get shots for himself and others was his different level. And like I didn't have clips here, but like Redick was a really good defender as well. Like it is the classic Redick thing where like he's like making good low man rotations and stuff, but just is way too small or unathletic to contest. But yeah, when I think of platonic ideal off-ball prospects, I think of JJ Redick, and basically everyone who like I watch is I'm gonna think of in the framework of like, is he gonna be this guy, or can he approximate what Redick does in some way? Also, just like a very fun guy to watch as well.